What's up, guys? It's MB Boxing, and I just finished up watching Gilberto Ramirez versus Billam-Smith, and this was a 12-rounder in the Cruiserweight division for the unified WBA and WBO Cruiserweight World Championship, and this fight was Saturday, November 16th, from the venue WHATS season in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, and this fight was broadcasted on DAZN. And in this fight, Gilberto Ramirez was able to become a unified Cruiserweight World Champion as he defeated Billam-Smith via unanimous decision. So this fight was actually a pretty decent watch, I'm going to be honest. It really was. I mean, both of them were really slugging. It was pretty fun to watch. Even though it was one-sided, in my opinion, it was still a pretty fun watch. But just to say my scorecard, I mean, I had it 118-110 for Gilberto Ramirez. The judges had it closer than I thought. They had it 116-112 twice, and then 116-113 once. But I mean, really, I thought that Ramirez kind of dictated the pace of this fight overall. Round number one, just to break down my scorecard, was a good Billam-Smith round. That was one of two rounds I did give him. He started out strong. He was far more powerful than Ramirez. And Ramirez really needed to kind of find a game plan in his corner in between rounds, and he did after that first round. He was really getting hit a lot in that first round. But then after that, the second round was more competitive. Billam-Smith had some good work, but Ramirez was placing some very good combinations, some body-head combinations on Billam-Smith and was kind of shifting the tide. Then round number three, again, Ramirez just started to pick up more momentum. It was a very fun round. Ramirez was kind of power boxing early. Billam-Smith came back and was landing some good uppercuts, but Ramirez closed it very well. And then after those first three rounds, it kind of turned into a Gilberto Ramirez show, really, from rounds 4 until round number 7, I'd say, or round number 8. And just to break down some of those rounds, round 4 was a great round for Ramirez. I mean, all those rounds I did give to him. He was just clocking Billam-Smith with some huge counter lefts. In round number 5, I thought he was just kind of picking him apart. I know Chris Mannix gave round number 5 to Billam-Smith. I don't see how. I thought Billam-Smith was throwing a lot, but missing a lot as well. And I thought Ramirez was kind of just picking him apart. Round number 6, Billam-Smith landed some shots of his own, but Ramirez was easily landing the far better and cleaner shots. And there was also a cut and some swelling on Billam-Smith's eye. It was actually from a headbutt, not a punch. But, I mean, Billam-Smith's body language wasn't so good, in my opinion. I mean, he was just getting clocked with some of these big shots, and it looked like he was possibly going to get stopped in kind of the middle rounds of the fight. And moving on, round number 7, another Ramirez round. Ramirez was just out-fighting him, just laying some great body shots, some great lefts to the head. I mean, Ramirez did very well and kind of showed, just showed that good movement he has coming up from super middleweight and light heavyweight, that he could put angles on some guys, especially at 200 pounds, which some of these guys would be a lot more slower, much more plotters in that weight, just like Billam-Smith kind of is. But then round number 8, I thought that Billam-Smith just wasn't doing enough, and I thought that Ramirez was just landing again, just the far more better shots. But I still thought it was a pretty fun fight to watch. Round number 9, also a round for Ramirez, but I thought this was a much better round for Billam-Smith. He actually landed some good shots of his own, but I thought that still Ramirez's shots were much more effective. And then round number 10, this round I actually did give to Billam-Smith. It was a much more quiet round. Ramirez's offense was more muted, but Billam-Smith was pressing forward and just pressing the action of that round, so I thought he did edge it. Then round number 11, both were pretty tired, but I thought Ramirez was just still landing the better shots with those left hands, getting them in there. And then the 12th and final round, they were both gassed, and they were just slugging. It was a really, really fun round, I'll admit. But they really were just slugging it out in that final round. But I thought that, again, just Ramirez was just getting the better of it with his more slick, just with his more slick fighting and just with his overall technique. That's really how he was getting the job done there. So, yeah, with this victory for Ramirez, he's now a 2-belt champion at Cruiserweight. He's also a 2-division world champion overall, winning titles at super middleweight and Cruiserweight now. So this goes to the question, what is next for him? And being that he's fought in Saudi Arabia multiple times on these Riyadh season shows, and Jai Opetaia, who holds the IBF title, has been, I think we're going to see that fight. I think we're going to see a 3-belt unification between Jairo Pitaya and Gilberto Ramirez. And yeah, I really think that's next for Ramirez. And it should be a great fight. But as for Chris Billam-Smith losing here for the second time in his career, I could definitely see him going back to, because he's normally fighting on those boxer shows on Sky Sports in the UK. So I think we could possibly see him face someone like Krzysztof Włodarczyk. Włodarczyk, he's ranked number 2 by the WBO. Possibly even someone else who's ranked in there. I know it's not like he's gonna go straight back for a world title, but I think he should definitely fight someone who's ranked in the WBO or just highly ranked by any of these sanctioning bodies. And I think like Krzysztof Włodarczyk is probably a good pick for him because he's older, he's got good name recognition, and I'm sure Chris Billam-Smith would get him out of there. So yeah, I think that possibly could be next for Chris Billam-Smith, another cruiserweight who's ranked around the top 15 to top 10. And he should just have a good solid comeback and really just try and work himself back up to title contention at 200 pounds. So overall, Gilberto Ramirez defeats Chris Billam-Smith via unanimous decision in a very action-packed fight that Gilberto Ramirez really won because of his more slick technique. And yeah, that's really it. I'm MB Boxing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.